John McCormack was born on the 9th of April 1893 to father Thomas McCormack and mother Catherine in Longford, Ireland. From the age of 2, Jack's life was already looking like a battle, as he lost his mother on Christmas Day 1895 when she gave birth to Jack's one and only sibling, sister Katie. Jack spent up to his teenage years in 11 Hydes Park, Longford town, where he attended school locally along with sister Katie, while Dad Thomas, who couldn't read or write, worked as a labourer to provide for his 2 children. At the age of 15, Jack joined the army in Mullingar as a boy bugler. Being poorly paid and trying to help his dad and sister at home, he met another local Longford man who took him under his wing and learned Jack the rudiments of music and the various bugle calls. Between being stationed at Mullingar and going back home to Longford at the new address of 11 Stafford's Yard, Jack was still struggling just to help his dad and sister at home. So in 1912, and poverty imminent, Jack, with a thought of a better life and a promise of money to his family every week, decided to change his uniform for the khaki of the Connaught Rangers and was transferred to the Curragh for training. After 8 months of intensive instruction, his battalion was moved to the Punjab in India. After a few months in the sweltering heat, the battalion was then transferred to the cooler climate of the Himalayas for the summer. In early August of 1914, World War broke out in Europe, and to help stop the German advance, the Connaught Rangers were brought back from India. Jack's first experience of being under fire was at Soupierre in Belgium, and in an early attack he was seriously wounded by a German bayonet and was only saved from death by the quick reaction of another ranger in dispatching the German before he could finish Jack off. After just over a month of this trench warfare, they were moved to Nouvelle Chapelle and afterwards to Ypres. It was here that the Germans used poisonous gas, which killed 700 of the Rangers in less than 20 minutes. Jack himself only escaped poisoning because he was in charge of the reserve ammunition behind the front line. Summer of June 1916 found him with the Rangers in Mesopotamia, which is today known as Iraq, Syria and Kuwait, including regions along the Turkish-Syrian and Iranian-Iraqi borders. Within 24 hours of their arrival, they were involved in a skirmish with the Turks. This proved a victory for the followers of Muhammad, as the Rangers were not prepared for a fight and had not brought their stores or reserves ashore. In Iraq, he was involved in an attempt to relieve General Townsend and his men, who were surrounded at Kutlamara. They were unable to force a way through the Turkish lines, and after 4 months Townsend was forced to surrender. Such was his bravery and gallantry during the siege that the Turks returned him his sword when they offered it in the customary token of submission. Shortly after the Turks took over, the Rangers succeeded in driving them out, and afterwards helped to retake Baghdad from them. After the surrender of the Turks, his regiment moved to Palestine and finished up in Beirut at the end of the war. He came home to Longford to a well-earned holiday, and when the regiment was reformed and reorganised, he joined up again and was posted to Germany, where their task was to keep the peace between the Germans and the Poles. In 1922, when the Irish regiments were disbanded in the British Army, he returned home to join the Irish Army as a military policeman, where he remained until 1929, when the numbers were cut down. He took a job as a salesman for coal in the Longford Gas Works, but when it closed down in 1932 with the coming of electricity, Jack found himself again unemployed. He worked as a general labourer until the outbreak of the Second World War, when he went into uniform again as a military policeman. In 1944 he was discharged as being unfit because of a shrapnel wound he received in his head at Ypres.